Let's take a look at our tail of the tape. You see the 13-year age difference. The weight, though, 173 quarters, 167 and a half for Alexis Angulo. The reach, identical. Main event time here from Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino. Let's get this party started as we'll send it up to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Mohegan Sun Arena here in Uncasville, Connecticut, Premier Boxing Champions presents the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Samson Boxing, TGB Promotions, and Showtime. Sponsored by Geico and Brooklyn Boxing, this bout is sanctioned by the WBC, the President Mauricio Suleiman, Supervisor Michael George, along with the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulations. The chairman of the Mohegan Tribe is James Gessner, and the director is Michael Mazzulli. Introducing our three judges scoring this bout from ringside. From New York, Don Ackerman. Also from New York, John McKay. And from Nevada, Chris Migliori. Introducing our third man to the ring, the referee in charge of the action, Johnny Callis. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the vacant WBC Super Middleweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the Mohegan Sun Arena, it's showtime! Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the red corner. Entering the ring wearing white trunks with black trim, hailing from El Bordo, Cauca, Colombia. He weighed in at a ready 167.5 pounds. His fine record stands at 26 wins, only one defeat, with 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight in his second attempt at a world title and in his Showtime debut, introducing El Poderoso Alexis Angulo. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing red trunks with gold and black trim, he is now fighting out of Seattle, Washington by way of Phoenix, Arizona. He weighed in over the limit at 170.75 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 22 wins, no losses, 19 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the youngest fighter ever to capture the super middleweight crown, the undefeated former two-time WBC super middleweight champion of the world, introducing El Bandera Roja, David Benavidez. Once again, a referee in charge now to give instructions, Johnny Callis.
Alexis, David, you received your instructions in the dressing room. I want you to protect yourself at all times, but above all, obey my commands at all times. First command is right now, touch gloves. When the bell rings, come out and box. Good luck.
Johnny Callis, a referee in charge. David Benavidez, who lost his world title on the scale yesterday.
Back it up, Alexis.
Aiming to keep his perfect record intact as he takes on Alexis Angulo, the hard-hitting Colombian power puncher. Our main event of the evening here from Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut. Ray Flores joining you. Hopefully we get a clear-cut finish tonight, because with the way the judging has gone this evening, you don't know what the heck these judges are going to come out with. And Benavidez wearing the red and the gold, wearing the white and the black is Alexis Angulo. I'll tell you, both men have high knockout percentages to their credit. The jab by Benavidez, doubling up on the jab. Benavidez has been working out at his father's gym in Seattle. Just opened up the gym, their private gym. Benavidez is building a house in Seattle. He is expecting His girlfriend is expecting a baby in less than a month's time, about a couple weeks, as we enter into September. So he will be a father. Well, David Benavidez, congrats to him and his lovely young family. But right now he has business to handle against Alexis Angulo. For Angulo, at 36 years of age, he looks in impeccable shape. Had no issue making the weight and said he is going to shock the world tonight. A right to the body by David Benavidez. At the halfway mark of the first. The jab by David Benavidez. Benavidez very steadfast in terms of using his jab. You know, David Benavidez is sparring with the likes of Gennady Golovkin at 15 years of age, as Angulo now crowds Benavidez, with his back on the ropes, threw an uppercut, partially grazed the whiskers of Benavidez. But now Benavidez back on the offensive, looking to tee off upon Alexis Angulo. Last year, David Benavidez fought in March. He finished off J. Leon Love in the second round in Arlington, Texas, in front of nearly 50,000. A crowd of over 15,000 saw David Benavidez defeat Anthony Durrell in the 10th round at Staples Center. Jab by Alexis Angulo. A left hook by David Benavidez. Final moments of the first round. Both men throwing some high leather and a lot of leather towards one another. David Benavidez with the hard right hand that missed. As round one draws to a close. Taking a look at some of the work by
Thank you, sir.
Alexis Angulo. Good body work by Angulo, followed by a right uppercut. There, that left uppercut caught the attention of Benavidez. Two uppercuts there by Angulo. And Benavidez fighting with his back off the ropes. Pedro Diaz in the corner of Alexis Angulo. On to round two. This one's scheduled for 12. Ray Flores here, Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut. Round number two. And David Benavidez, as we mentioned, will be a father. His son is due in a few weeks. Tough. And David Benavidez now, after this fight, win or lose, will look to become a three-time world champion. And he hasn't even ever lost a fight. Now the power by Alexis Angulo being demonstrated and displayed. But back comes Benavidez. There's a left hook to the body by Benavidez. Back comes Angulo.
Go his head, let go.
Angulo pressuring David Benavidez. Benavidez so tall, powerful. His promoter Samson Lukowicz gave him the nickname El Bandera Roja. That means the red flag. I asked him years ago, over 5 years ago, why they decided to give him that nickname. He said rather than wave the white flag, the opponents will have to wear and wave the red flag because they're going to see nothing but blood based on what this young man and David Benavidez can do. David Benavidez started boxing and he was upwards up to 230 as a young man at 15 years of age. His older brother, Jose Benavidez, is a was a welterweight contender, super lightweight contender. I believe he was a champion as well, to my knowledge. A jab by David Benavidez. There's a jab by David Benavidez. A right hand to the body by the 23-year-old from Phoenix. Back comes Angulo. There's a big right hand, followed by a right to the body. Benavidez, you hear those shots, they are wicked when you hear the zip and the thud upon Alexis Angulo. Angulo starting to not be as active and busy based on the fact that he's been tasting the power of David Benavidez. There's a right hand, followed by a left as Benavidez sticking that jab in the kisser of Alexis Angulo as we head towards the end of the second.
Time.
And there was some of the action from David Benavidez. A beautiful right to the body that backed up Alexis Angulo again. There's that right, crushing right hand. And you see Benavidez back up. Benavidez is so crafty when it comes to his punch selection because he throws from every which angle. One of the most memorable knockouts that David Benavidez had was when he knocked out Rogelio Porky Medina. And that was a couple years ago, and it was a vicious 8 or 9 punch combination that I was so fortunate enough to call. And we approach round 3. This one is scheduled for 12. Ray Flores ringside here. Thank you all so much for joining us wherever you are around the world. Alexis Angulo trying to press David Benavidez. But so far it has been David Benavidez who is using his jab to begin the power onslaught. Like the work that Benavidez did in the last round when he threw a right to the body and then he's finding the openings. And when Benavidez hits you, even on your arms and your biceps and your wrist, it still takes a lot out of you, even blocking the shots because of how heavy-handed David Benavidez is. And you're starting to see that Angulo is a little bit more shy than usual because of the fact that he realizes he has a headhunter and someone who can land punches in bunches with authority. But back comes Angulo. Over a minute has come off the clock. There's a nice right by David Benavidez. There's a right to the body by David Benavidez as we approach 50% of the way through round 3. There's a jab to the body by David Benavidez. Nice left hook by Benavidez. Love how he's sticking and pressing that jab. Look at that work by David Benavidez. Goes downstairs. Does Benavidez. It was below the belt, but thankfully it didn't connect.
And after one thing you have to do.
And good work now by Alexis Angulo, who's trying to crowd David Benavidez. A left hook by the 23-year-old in Benavidez. There's a right that connected. Back it up. Alexis Angulo, I feel like Benavidez knows he has Angulo hurt. He goes right back on the offensive. A left hook to the body by Benavidez. Benavidez really starting to open up, and that could be troublesome for Alexis Angulo. Right to the body. Down goes Angulo. No knockdown. So says Johnny Callis. Angulo breathing heavy. It may only be a matter of time before he tastes the canvas officially. Big lead right hand by Benavidez. Another one. Crushing shots by the former champion. Benavidez is in seek and destroy mode. A vicious left hook to the body by Benavidez. Angulo getting the steam taken out from, and he goes back to the corner. He is getting pounded upon with quite a bit of punishment. And let's take a look at the overhead look. Let's see, he's almost laboring a right to the body. Okay, their feet did get tangled up, so Johnny Callis was correct in that regard. Great job by our fantastic crew here at Mohegan Sun to give us that overhead look at the, and we take a look at, you know, some of our fellow commentators. Benavidez immediately rises to his feet. Round 4, this one is scheduled for 12. Ray Flores ringside here at Mohegan Sun. So far it has been the David Benavidez show, as Alexis Angulo is going to have to go through fire and some in order to try to swing the momentum in his favor. Alexis Angulo, the only time he fought for a world title was against Gilberto Ramirez, the former super middleweight champion. Angulo trying to press the issue and put Benavidez back on the ropes. There's a steady jab by Benavidez. A right to the body. David Benavidez gets proper leverage behind his punches and gains a lot of power that he generates from his legs. And couple that with being heavy-handed, that's a recipe for disaster for David Benavidez's opponents. Sticking the jab is Benavidez, but back comes Angulo. Angulo is a rough and tumble competitor.
Well, he told us Angulo that
There's a jab by Benavidez. We're over the halfway point of the 4th round. Benavidez taking his time, but you know that he has in his mind to make this a quicker night than usual at the office. There's a left hook. Wins for David Benavidez over Ronald Gavril twice. Anthony Durrell, J. Leon Love, Rogelio Porky Medina. Benavidez feels that he is among the elite and is the best at 168. Even though he lost the title, still quite confident in his ability, and he has every right to do so. There's a left hook to the body that got through the guard of Alexis Angulo, followed by a right. We are approaching 30 seconds to go here in this 4th stanza. This one is scheduled for 12. Don't know if it'll last that long, to be honest, with the rate that David Benavidez is dishing out this punishment. But Alexis Angulo is so tough and durable. He's only lost to Gilberto Ramirez, but it has been all David Benavidez. But back comes Angulo charging across the ring to no avail. And that's the end of the 4th. Taking a look at the work from David Benavidez against Alexis Angulo. The jab to the body and the scene. Benavidez shook his right glove a little bit. I wonder if he hurt it. We'll be curious to see that, because he's throwing that right hand, but I wonder if he hurt the right hand, because he's starting to throw more with his left. That is something to look at moving forward.
Uno más. Ese jab, no te quedes muy parado. Ahí, recogerlo acá.
Alexis, more punches. Have to see more punches.
Benavidez is, of course, a family affair of the
And Johnny Callis telling Angulo, he told Angulo, the referee in charge, said, I want to see more punches. There's a right hand by Benavidez. Benavidez setting up his power shots with the jab. And to think Benavidez is only 23 years of age. There's a right uppercut by Benavidez. A left hook that found its mark for Benavidez. As we are just over the minute mark here in this, the 5th round. Angulo seems to be a bit, as we like to say, gun shy after tasting the power of David Benavidez. He isn't throwing with as much frequency as he did in the first round, largely in part to the fact that he has been getting pounded upon, and essentially right now he's a moving target for Benavidez to just clobber upon. But if you're Angulo, it's that old mindset. You're going to have to deal with some pain if you want to win this fight and win the world title. Now, in this fight, with Benavidez missing weight, if Benavidez wins, the WBC Super Middleweight Championship is vacant. Angulo can still win the world title, so this is a championship fight for Alexis Angulo. A left hook to the body by Benavidez. And Benavidez now, it is just straight up target practice for the Phoenix, Arizona native. Under a minute left here in the 5th. Oh, what a vicious right to the body by Benavidez, and he clipped him with a left hook. Benavidez is dominating and picking his shots. He's starting to really bully around Alexis Angulo, but back comes Angulo now. We'll see if Angulo can do something. This is when he needs to have some offense.
Time!
There's a right hook to the body by David Benavidez. We take a look at some of the work. There's that right to the body that I mentioned. Oh, that has to hurt. And Angulo would throw back himself. But so far, it is still all David Benavidez. And back, we see Benavidez loading that right uppercut. Oh, oh my.
Sí, sí, sí. Pero tienes que ser muy cuidadoso, ¿ok? Cuidadoso. Toca el cuerpo y luego...
Ice on the floor. Aye. Hold on. Hold on.
One more.
Get it.
Round 6. This one is scheduled for 12. So far, it has been the David Benavidez show here in Uncasville, Connecticut. There's a right that smacks off the skull of Alexis Angulo. Greatly appreciate all of you joining us. And let's not forget, David Benavidez is just 23 years of age. And he's already been a two-time world champion. There's a nice sweeping right cross by Benavidez as Angulo comes forward. There's a left hook by David Benavidez. Angulo needs to do something to try to change around the momentum of this fight, but that is easier said than done, especially when you have someone like David Benavidez who's putting together double, triple jabs and then has the power and the ring IQ to get around your guard and throw big power shots that shake the core of your foundation. There's a left hook to the body. Johnny Callis warning Benavidez about keeping his punches up. There's a right backing up Alexis Angulo. At what point, if you're Pedro Diaz, do you start to think, okay, my fighter's taking too much punishment? I think we're getting to that point as we approach 65 seconds to go here in the 6th. I think we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, you are getting pounded and beat up on. And he's still throwing punches, but he's got to give more of this.
Let go of each other.
I'm all about the safety of the fighters and being able to go home to their families safe and sound even after having a battle like this. But Benavidez is really starting to open up and connect and land some clean punches, especially to the body, and saw Angulo momentarily just grimace. It is just target practice inside the ring with David Benavidez using his full arsenal here tonight. There's a look at this combination. This is remnants of what he did against Rogelio Porky Medina. And now David Benavidez getting a lot more comfortable here. There's a right.
Time.
It is all David Benavidez. Goodness. And we're taking a look at some of the work of El Bandera Roja, and there's another crushing right uppercut. Look at that work by David Benavidez, almost like a video game. Pure dominance tonight by David Benavidez against Alexis Angulo.
Agárrale por la nariz, por la nariz. Respira, 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 respira. Hay tiempo, no te desesperes. Respira. Otra vez, ese jab.
Round 7, this one is scheduled for 12. Curious to see if David Benavidez steps on the gas and tries to finish off Alexis Angulo. For Angulo, you always have a puncher's chance, especially with the knockout percentage that he has. But if you're David Benavidez, probably thinking, all right, let me go and really try to finish this matchup off. David Benavidez with the jab to the body. And doubling up on the jab. Angulo not doing too much. He fights in small spurts, does Angulo. And he's got to try to use his sort of like a running back mentality and try to get through the guard of Benavidez and press him on the ropes. And here is David Benavidez, who avoided that. He spun off the ropes and put himself right back in the center of the ring. Power shot thrown by Angulo, blocked by Benavidez. Benavidez answered right back. Mixes in his uppercut as well. Does the 23-year-old. 100 seconds left here in the 7th.
Now, after game plan, he's going to make adjustments as the fight progresses. So,
Alexis, let go.
75 seconds left here in the 7th. Look at that hand speed by David Benavidez. The left hook to the body. Johnny Callis watching the action. I think this could get close to potentially being stopped if it continues at this rate. Benavidez is starting to wear down. I mean, he's been wearing down Angulo for the past several rounds. Double jab by David Benavidez, the right to the body. Final moments of the 7th. It is all, look at David Benavidez just tee off upon Alexis Angulo. And that is the end of the 7th.
Sigue tirando el jab, sigue haciendo lo mismo, ya estos zapatos ya están conectando. Sígueme trabajando el cuerpo, también un poquito más y ya de ahí combinamos para los que dicen los zapatos que tocan. Agárrale, hay tiempo, hay tiempo.
Cuando ven a hacer romper la distancia, compadre. ¿Oíste? Romper la distancia.
Round 8, this one is scheduled for 12. David Benavidez and Alexis Angulo. So far, it has been the David Benavidez show. We'll see if that trend continues. Alexis Angulo hasn't really done too much in this fight. Just momentary spurts of having Benavidez on the ropes, and that's about it. Double jab. There's a right by Angulo. David Benavidez in total control as Alexis Angulo. I'm curious to see if Benavidez now starts to walk down Angulo more so. There's a right that drove Angulo on the ropes, and now if Benavidez starts to throw a combination, it could signal the end of the fight. Johnny Callis watching the action, but back comes Angulo rushing across the ring. It seemed if Angulo would have been in that corner for the next 10 to 15 seconds, who knows what could have happened. But he used his ring knowledge to rush across the ring. There's a jab by Benavidez, followed by a right cross. He tried to mix in an uppercut during that exchange as well. This is when Angulo's got to go to work. Uppercut. Some body work by Angulo. But back comes Benavidez.
No backhand, David. No backhand.
Benavidez now in the southpaw stance. Oh, there's a vicious right hook to the body. And Benavidez backs up. Now he goes back to conventional. And he continues to wail upon Alexis Angulo during this fight. Back comes Angulo. And that's the end of the 8th. And here, let's take a look at some of this work by David Benavidez as he continues to pound away upon Alexis Angulo. It is all David Benavidez just clipping Angulo in every different direction.
Corner, clean up that water.
And they're going to trot out David Benavidez
Corner
again.
men.
Or Alexis Angulo again.
Hey, get those down.
So far it has been all David Benavidez. I don't have him losing out a single round. I don't even have him losing a minute of the fight collectively. Angulo now starting off with more of a sense of urgency. Winging shots. There's a right to the body by David Benavidez.
Why, I was going to ask Al, should Angulo's corner?
There's a left hook to the body by Angulo. Double jab by Benavidez. There's a jab followed by the right hand.
Alexis, let go.
Angulo trying to press Benavidez as we have 100 seconds to go. Angulo is a tough customer. I will give him that. Boy, can he absorb some punishment. And here's a guy who only has one loss, and that coming at the hands of Gilberto Ramirez, and David Benavidez is making him look subpar tonight.
Keep him up, David. Keep him up.
There's a big right hand left to the body. Big right hand by David Benavidez, and Benavidez continues in his onslaught. Jab by Benavidez. There's a right to the body by Benavidez. There's a left downstairs to the body, and Angulo still has no answers for David Benavidez whatsoever.
Don't hold, don't hold.
A right by Benavidez, followed by a left hook to the body by Benavidez. But back comes Angulo, charging, rushing. It is total domination for Benavidez. Sheer target practice. To the 10th we go. And we'll take a look at more of David Benavidez, a left hook to the body. And
ya en cualquier rato lo podemos parar, ¿ok? Nomás no te me confíes, está bien cansado, ya están las últimas. Pero no te me confíes, estos tapas que ya están conectando ese cuerpo ni se diga, ¿ok? Sigue haciéndome lo mismo. Mira.
Coming up on round 10, this one's scheduled for 12. As Romero
Alexis, let go.
Alexis Angulo trying to do something to change the complexity of this fight. If you'd have told me this fight was going to go to the 10th round after the start that we saw, I would say you're probably wrong. But we have been surprised by the durability. I'm not surprised by the toughness, but man, can Alexis Angulo take a shot. Now he's really applying the pressure. But back comes Buenavidez. A lead right hand, connected, followed by a left hook. The combination of David Buenavidez.
Don't hold his head, David.
Buenavidez starting to really tee off on Alexis Angulo. Left hook to the body, a right to the body. More work and body devastation, and a left hook on the chin by Buenavidez. Just over the 50% part of the 10th. Big, heavy power shots. All right, uppercut that found its mark for Buenavidez. I mean, and as you look at this matchup, Angulo is not, he's only throwing a few punches over the course of the round. He's eating a lot. He's getting tattooed and blasted in every direction imaginable. At what point does Pedro Diaz say, come on, live to fight another day? Because, I mean, aesthetically, it hasn't done much when it comes to cuts, but oh man, that's a big shot. Backed up on Angulo, who dropped his hands. And Johnny Callis may want to get in there. A left hook that connected by Angulo. But Johnny Callis may want to get in there and possibly stop this fight. Right uppercut. Buenavidez pounded away upon Angulo, jarring his head. Now Johnny Callis should step in right now. Man, Angulo was getting pounded. You saw his head snap back on several occasions during that exchange, and his face is starting to swell. It's like, at what point do you stop this fight?
No problem. Is it over? It's over? It's over. It's done?
So the corner has stopped the fight, and thankfully it is over. That was a dominant performance by David Benavidez. Glad cooler heads prevail. Pedro Diaz embraces with Benavidez. But that was a one-sided demolition for David Benavidez. Let's take a look at the power punches. There's that vicious right cross by David Benavidez. There's that right uppercut smacking off the jaw of Alexis Angulo, and a left uppercut. This is when Angulo had his back on the ropes, and it was a total dominant performance from David Benavidez. So now the WBC super middleweight title becomes vacant, but remaining undefeated is David Benavidez.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at the end of round number 10. Our referee in charge, Johnny Callis, stops the contest upon request of the corner. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, and he is still undefeated. El Bandera Roja, David Benavidez.
Unbelievable.